Anthropic's Boris Cherny just dropped a bombshell on Lenny's podcast. He hasn't typed a single line of code by hand since November. Every line he ships, 10, 20, 30 pull requests a day, is written by Claude Code. And he's still one of the most productive engineers at the company. This isn't hype. 4% of all public GitHub commits in the world are now authored by Claude Code, and the daily active users just doubled in a single month. While we blinked, AI consumed software development. And Boris just spent 90 minutes with Lenny Rachitsky explaining what happens next, the principles, the pro tips, the contrarian product lessons, and the brutal predictions for who gets disrupted in the next 12 months. Massive credit to Lenny's podcast for landing this conversation. Here are 11 insights that will change how you build, hire, and ship in 2026. About 6 months ago, Boris quietly left Anthropic. He joined Cursor. 2 weeks later, he was back. It's the fastest job change he's ever made, and the reason matters. Boris said the Cursor team is awesome. They saw where AI coding was going before almost anyone. But the moment he started, he realized what he was actually missing. Not the work, not the product, the mission. At Anthropic, you walk down the hallway, ask anyone why they're there, and the answer is always safety. That mission driven gravity is something he says he personally needs to be happy. 2 weeks was all it took to know that the most exciting product in the world is not a substitute for working on something you believe in. If you are choosing between a great product and a great mission, Boris's answer is loud and clear. Here is the line that broke the engineering internet. Quote, coding is largely solved. At least for the kind of programming that I do, it's just a solved problem because Claude can do it. End quote. Boris hasn't edited a single line by hand since November. Every day, he ships 10, 20, even 30 pull requests, and all of them are written by Claude Code. He still reviews the code, and Anthropic also has Claude do automatic review on every pull request with humans as the final checkpoint. But the typing is done. And here's the kicker. Productivity per engineer at Anthropic is up 200% in the last year, while the engineering team itself grew roughly 4 times. For anyone who has worked on developer productivity, those numbers are unprecedented. A normal year of internal tooling delivers maybe a few percentage points. Boris ran code quality at Meta. He knows hundreds of percentage points is, in his words, absolutely insane. Boris credits one principle above all others for why Claude Code worked: latent demand. The simple version is this: watch what people are doing with your product that you didn't design it for, then build the thing for them. Facebook Marketplace was born this way. 40% of Facebook group posts in 2016 were people buying and selling. Nobody designed groups for commerce, but the demand was screaming. Marketplace was the inevitable answer. Same story with Facebook dating. 60% of profile views were strangers of the opposite gender. Ship the product. Boris saw the same signal inside Anthropic. One Monday in May, he walked into the office and found the company's data scientist running SQL queries inside a terminal with Claude Code. By the next week, every data scientist was doing it. People grew tomato plants with it, recovered wedding photos from a corrupted hard drive, analyzed an MRI, analyzed their own genome. So Boris's team took Claude Code, dropped it inside the Claude desktop app, and shipped the product called Cowork. They built it in 10 days. It was a hit immediately. The lesson? When users abuse your product to do something useful, that's not a bug. That's your roadmap. This one is genuinely contrarian. Boris's advice to startups and CTOs is underfund your teams and give engineers unlimited tokens. He calls it intrinsic motivation. When one engineer is on a project, they ship faster because they want to. They are forced to clarify. They are forced to let Claude do the heavy lifting. Bigger teams just slow each other down. On the token side, he tells leaders to stop optimizing for cost on day one. Don't fine tune. Don't downgrade to a cheaper model. At small scale, the token bill is nothing compared to engineer salary, and the loss from killing experimentation is enormous. Anthropic engineers are now spending hundreds of thousands of dollars per month on tokens, and the company encourages it. Some companies are starting to offer unlimited tokens as a recruiting perk. The point is to let people try the crazy ideas. You optimize when something works and scales, not before. If you treat tokens like RBS bills in 2010, you will lose to the team that treats them like oxygen. The single most important advice Boris gave Lenny for builders: stop boxing in the model. Almost everyone, when they first build with an LLM, layers heavy scaffolding. Step 1, Step 2, Step 3, strict orchestrators, pre cooked context dumps. Boris says, don't. Give the model a goal, give it tools, and let it figure out which tools to run and in what order. That's the entire design philosophy of Claude Code. The product is the model. The wrapper is minimal. Behind this is Rich Sutton's bitter lesson. The more general model always beats the more specific one. Workflows might gain you 10 or 20% of performance. The next model release wipes those gains out completely. Then the wrapper is just dead weight. Boris's framing, quote, ask not what the model can do for you. Ask how to give the model the tools to do things, end quote. And the corollary, every founder should have tattooed somewhere visible. Build for the model 6 months from now, not the model of today. Your product market fit will be ugly for half a year. When the next model lands, it will click overnight. Boris's favorite historical analogy is not the iPhone or the internet, it's the printing press. In Europe, before Gutenberg, literacy was under 1%. Reading and writing were the job of a tiny class of scribes employed by lords and kings, many of whom could not read themselves. Then the press arrived. In the 50 years after, more printed material was created than in the entire 1,000 years before. Cost dropped roughly 100 times. Literacy went from under 1% to 70% globally, but it took 200 years. Boris thinks software is going through the same shift. There is an actual interview with a 15th century scribe who said he was thrilled by the press because the boring part of his job, copying between books, was finally automated. Boris feels the same way as an engineer. The tedious Git wrestling and dependency hunting is gone. What's left is the fun part: figuring out what to build, talking to users, thinking about systems. And the bigger payoff is downstream. Like the press, AI is inherently democratizing. In a few years, anyone can build software at any time. Without the press, none of us would be having this conversation. The next 2 centuries of value start now. Software engineering is just the first domino. Boris is clear. Every role adjacent to engineering is next: product managers, designers, data scientists, and eventually anyone whose job lives on a computer. The reason is the agent. For most people, AI still means a chatbot. An agent is different. An agent is a model with tools. It can act. It can read your Gmail, post to Slack, run commands, fill out PDF forms, cancel subscriptions, pay parking tickets. Boris does all of these every day with Cowork. Inside the Claude Code team, the lines are already disappearing. Every product manager codes, every designer codes, every engineering manager codes, even the finance person codes. Boris predicts that by the end of the year, the title software engineer starts going away. The replacement word he uses is builder. Either everyone is a product manager who codes, or everyone is a builder who ships. The pure specialist track is closing. 3 Claude Code pro tips Boris uses every single day. Tip 1: always use the most capable model with maximum effort enabled. Counterintuitively, this is cheaper because Sonnet at half the price often takes more total tokens to finish the same task. The smarter model gets there in fewer turns with less handholding. Use Opus 4.6. Tip 2: start 80% of your tasks in plan mode. Plan mode is shockingly simple. It just injects one sentence into the prompt. Please don't write any code yet. Hit Shift Tab twice in the terminal, or click the plan button in the desktop app. You discuss the plan, agree on it, then let Claude one-shot the execution. Boris auto accepts edits after the plan is approved. Tip 3: multi-quad. Boris has at least 5 Claude sessions running at any moment. He codes from the terminal, the Claude desktop app, the iOS app, and from Slack, the same agent, every surface. He says about a third of his code now ships from his phone. If you are locked into a single terminal, you are leaving your biggest productivity multiplier on the table. Boris' advice for surviving the next 12 months. Step 1: experiment. Try the bleeding edge tools. Get past the fear. Step 2, and this is the bigger one: become a generalist. The engineers who are crushing it on the Claude Code team are not pure specialists. They are hybrid product and infrastructure engineers, designers who code, engineers with strong business sense, engineers who love talking to users. The reward in the next era goes to the people who cross disciplines and think about the whole problem, not just their slice. Boris also gave a life motto worth tattooing: use common sense. He says the failures he sees most often are smart people following process without thinking, working on bad ideas because of momentum, or refusing to step back to first principles. If something smells weird, trust your nose. The future of work belongs to curious generalists with their own internal compass. Lenny asked Boris what he plans to do after AGI. The answer is unexpectedly grounded. Before joining Anthropic, Boris lived in rural Japan as the only English speaker in his town. He learned to make miso. White miso takes at least 3 months to ferment. Red miso takes 2 to 4 years. You mix it, you set it down, you wait. Boris says it teaches you to think on long time scales, the opposite of the San Francisco speed cycle. Sci-fi prepared him to take this transition seriously. Long time scales taught him patience. Together, they're why he came back to Anthropic. Whatever happens after AGI, Boris says he's probably making miso. The point isn't the miso. The point is, find a slow craft now, before the world goes faster. If you only take 3 things from Boris on Lenny's podcast, it's this: coding is solved, latent demand is the single most important product principle, and you must build for the model 6 months from now, not today. We turned all 11 insights into a free PDF playbook with Boris's exact quotes, the timestamps, and the pro tips. Comment the word Boris below and we'll send it to you. If this video helped, hit subscribe. Over 90% of viewers haven't, and we genuinely cannot keep producing this kind of breakdown without your support. One click, it costs nothing. It means everything. Massive thanks again to Lenny Rachitsky and the Lennys podcast team for the original conversation. The full episode link is in the description. See you in the next one.